Welcome to session 8 of my Challenger training series. This is the final metabolic conditioning set from the session 7, which we focused on a barbell complex. And with that one, the parameters were kind of loose. You know, you had your rep scheme, but you could choose what weight you wanted to use, and more importantly, you could choose how long of rest you had between each round. And that was due to whether you want to focus a little bit more on strength, or you want to focus on form, or perhaps you just want to get them done as quick as possible. With session 8, with our metabolic conditioning, we've got 2 components and they each have different parameters to adhere to. The first one will be a 20-minute MRAP. So it's 3 exercises and you're doing as many rounds as possible. And so you'll have 2 very different results between 2 completely different individuals. Someone who's quite fit, utilizing a weight that they're comfortable with, will get more rounds than someone who is not as fit, who is probably utilizing a lighter weight. So you can definitely see, it can definitely cater to different fitness levels, whether someone's aerobically fitter or someone's stronger. So this is a great way to sort of, whether you want to incorporate into a group environment, just making sure that everyone understands how to do each exercise correctly and and have that mind-body connection, knowing, yeah, you know, like I know I have to go as fast as I can and it's all about getting as many rounds, but I'm not too comfortable when I'm this fatigued moving this way or at this particular movement. So ensuring that your clients or ensuring yourself understands when to pull back and when to go hard is very important with, you know, sessions 5 and 6, which was HIIT, and sessions 7 and 8 as metabolic conditioning. So the first component, like I said, a 20-minute MRAP, 3 exercises. The second component is an EMOM, but it's every 2 minutes on the minute you'll complete 3 different exercises and you're going to repeat, I believe it was 10 times, creating 20 minutes in total. So we have 2 20-minute components, which is essentially you giving it all you have, but they're both different parameters you've got to adhere to, which is what makes it interesting and what can give you some valuable feedback too in your training. So we're going to break down the first component, our 20-minute MRAP, with the 3 exercises. We're going to be utilizing a dumbbell. You can utilize a kettlebell if you've got a kettlebell that suits your particular weight. If you're comfortable with the kettlebell, that's fine. If you only have access to dumbbells, you can use that too. So component 1, exercise 1, is 6-6 overhead press. Now, I don't care if you want to go a push press or a strict press, completely up to you, depending on what your desired outcome is in your training, how this sits with your already existing training regime. You know, you may have already done, your shoulders may be quite taxed from a lot of other training you've done in the week, so maybe you want to utilize a bit more lower body and go overhead press. So I know that if I have, for instance, 20 kilos here, I can strict push press that, but if I'm really tired from previous exercises or training sessions, I'll use my legs to help generate more power from the ground and translate that up to the shoulder and over my head. Or I'll even just go heavier, maybe 35, 40 kilos, and challenge myself in more explosive strength. So I'm just going to utilize 20 kilos for the example for today. 6 and 6, we've covered this in previous sessions, I believe in the earlier sessions, the hypertrophy and strength. So I'm going to hold the dumbbell on top of my shoulder, but the weight is bearing through the wrist here. Okay, and that's why you want to try to keep the wrist as straight as possible, keep that elbow tucked in, and remember, we're not holding this weight up here with our biceps. Of course, that is all playing its role, but again, we're holding it through our back. So we're going to be pulling through the lats and compressing down, and that's going to create a very stable platform and allow you to carry heavier weight. And of course, this is another core exercise, challenging the functionality and integrity of our trunk, because what's gravity doing to me right now is just wanting me to fall this way. I've got an extra 20 kilos here, so all this side has to work overtime to keep me upright, let alone being dynamic and pressing above my head. All right, so now I have the weight well above my head. I've got my wrist in line with my shoulder and line up in my elbow to shoulder. Again, I'm in a stable, strong position because I'm thinking about from the foot up. So my feet are planted like into the ground. I'm spreading my toes. I'm actually even trying to grip the ground as much as I can with my toes, creating a strong arch in the foot, strong platform for then everything else to follow suit. My glutes are turned on. All right, connecting through my hips, my trunk, sternum is being pulled down towards my pelvis, and my shoulder is sitting nice and snug into the entire girdle here, upper back, my anterior serratus, my lats, everything's engaged. to have a nice steady platform, which I can then lower down and bring that elbow back in front of my body here. I'm not resting out to the side, putting my shoulder in a more of a vulnerable position, and my body starts to tweak out a bit. You see my hip is trying to sit out to compensate my weight being that way. I want to actually hold it nice and tight here. I'm going to complete 6 reps on my right side, switch, 6 reps on my left side. Now if you need to place the weight down after 6 on your right, shake it out, pick it back up safely, and reset and re-engage, that's fine. Depending on, again, where you're at in terms of how conditioned you are and what weight you're using. If you're using something quite heavy, 6 reps on one side is tough, 6 reps on the other side, done. And then we're going to move on to our bend over row. So we've just done all the pushing. You think, oh man, my upper body's fried, but really we're going to use our upper body in a different way, complete opposite angle. So now we're going to work on our upper back muscles. Again, trunk is important through this, protecting our spine, keeping everything as tight and stable as possible. I'm going to go into our bend over row, which you can have your feet side by side, leaning to one side. So I've got my dumbbell here, pulling in, squeezing my lat, keeping my shoulders square, keep my hips square, and my center of gravity will now be in this middle leg. So I could probably even almost go to a single leg bend over row. That's how much weight I'm putting into this. But I want you to focus on pressing weight down into your left leg. So automatically, if you've got holding the dumbbell, yes, your center of mass will change, but you've got to fight against that by trying to put weight back into that left leg, and again, encouraging more contralateral communication in the trunk, and that way you're going to be working better as one, you'll be more stable and less susceptible to injury. So holding the dumbbell, pressing weight in my left leg, feeling through my trunk, keeping it squeezed, keeping it controlled, finish your 6 reps, and going again for the other side for another 6. So, we've just worked through those 2 movements. Contralateral work happening here, body's working overtime, upper body's starting to feel fatigued, and we're about to just supercharge it with our 3rd exercise. It's going to be a dead ball crawl for 20 meters. Now, we're going to move down over here, so I'll come to the floor, and I'll face you. Here I've got a 45 kilo ball. You can use a 100 kilo ball, you can use a 20 kilo ball, but I don't want you to go too light where you just hit the thing and start rolling. It needs to have a bit of mass to it so you can feel everything moving as one. And you'll see what I'm talking about, because this has all been unilateral, working one side at a time. So we don't want to stop that. We want to continue with that trend, and that way we're going to further our adaptations and get more bang for your buck. So I'm going to face you, place the ball here. Now this one, we're going to be doing a press movement. So we've already done our overhead presses, so our shoulders are already pre-fatigued. But now we're going to be placing ourselves in a different position to do a press, as well as having our knees off the ground. So you're in a staggered position. I've got my right leg, my right foot up higher towards my right hand, because I've got to lift that hand off the ground. If I keep my legs back and lift my right hand, I've got too much weight in that hand, I'm going to fall to the side. So your body's got to compromise and try to find a suitable platform, a strong base of support. So my right leg will come up, my left hand will come to the outside of the ball, and now I can lift my right hand up and still have a strong base of support. 3 pillars instead of 4. I'm going to lower myself down towards the ball. So instead of pushing at the top, I want to push down in the center. And I'm going to straighten my neck up, so I'm keeping my neck in a neutral position. And I'm going to press to full extension. Then I have to come forward and get into the opposite position. Press to full extension. And you're just going to keep moving. All right, it's all about working with intention, moving well. So your core has to be working. This hip is switched on when you're pushing through this shoulder. This hip is switched on when you're pushing through this shoulder. It's an excellent exercise that I incorporate in my training all the time. There's 2 ways to go about it, and depending on how heavy you work, you can try to monster it and beast it and not let the ball sit still. It means you've got to be quick. Takes a lot of energy, but it's actually less weight we're pushing, if that makes sense. So as we know, we've talked about in the past, a standstill object, then you've got to move it takes a lot more energy than something that's already moving. All right, so when you're doing this, if you're pushing it and not letting it stop, then you're going to be pushing less, but still difficult because you're keeping the frequency up high, the cadence is higher. So you've got to choose what suits you as long as your form is good and as long as the weight is challenging. So 20 meters of that, that's your third exercise, and you just got to repeat that as many times for 20 minutes. Okay, so we're on component 2 now of the Metcon session. You've already completed 20 minutes of that MRAP with the 3 exercises. You're feeling taxed, and that's the whole idea. You know, we're generating as much energy and force as possible with compound movements, and we're making you work with little bits of rest. So this is where you got to really hang in there, self-assess, re-engage, and finish off the session strong with this last component, which is every 2 minutes on the minute for 10 rounds. So it's 20 minutes of work, but hopefully if you get the volume of work done within that 2 minutes, you may have 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds rest. So the intensity is very important to hold and maintain. Otherwise, you know, we're using different energy system and we're not getting as much bang for our buck. So in the 2 minutes, what I'm hoping that you can all achieve at home or at the gym or wherever you are is you start on the Airdyne bike. Again, if you don't have an Airdyne bike, we'll get you on a ski erg or a rowing machine, or you have to maybe fill this with burpees, something that is low resistance but will jack your heart rate up. So with the Airdyne bike, I've put down 15 calories for females or 20 calories for males. Now again, it doesn't have to be gender specific. You may have some males that have to go down to 15 calories because they don't have the fitness, and you'll have some females who are fit and strong and they want to do 20 calories. So it's up to you which you choose. So for instance, I do 20 calories, I'm on the bike, I get my 20 calories out as quick as I can, I come off, yes, my heart rate's up, my legs are burning, my shoulders are taxed, of course, from the previous session, but that's okay. And I'm going to grab my next bit of equipment, which will be a kettlebell. So I've only got 2 minutes, I can't fluff around, but again, I have to make sure that I'm composed enough to pick up the weight safely, get myself in position. So I've done my 20 calories, shake it out, pick up my kettlebell. I'm going to clean it into a front rack position. Now remember, if you don't have a kettlebell, you can use the same thing with a dumbbell that you've used in obviously component 1, and you're going to complete 6 reps per side of front lunges in the rack position. Okay, complete 6 reps, switch side. Okay, you've done that. Shake it out again. I've got a 24 kilo kettlebell. You can go heavier, you can go lighter, but it must be at a particular intensity. So your rate of perceived exertion wants to be at a point around 7 and 8 where you can maintain it, but not for long, and it's challenging. If someone asks you a question during the activity, you might be able to give them a 1-2 word answer. But you definitely can't sit down like, yeah, no worries, whatever, cool, this is easy, not a problem. Might as well stop, go home, and do something else. We want results here. We want to build people who understand why they're doing it and how they're training and how to do it correctly. So, rate of perceived exertion, 7 to 8. And the scale, all those diagrams available on the program of 365. So if you need to look at that, jump into there and see what I'm talking about to a further extent. So we've done the front lunges, 6 and 6. Now we're going to work with single kettlebell swings. Now this is great because you can see with this particular device why I've chosen it is that it is contralateral. I'm pushing with one side and I'm pulling with the other, challenging myself like I did with the previous 3 exercises, working one side at a time. Now I've just done my front lunges contralaterally, so my right hand is holding the kettlebell and I go 6 on my left leg. Then I switch hands and go 6 on my right leg, so opposite sides again. The third exercise is the same, but kettlebell swings with single arms. So again, we're working through that anti-rotational demand and stimuli that's going to help create stronger trunks, and it's going to make sure that you're getting the most bang for your buck, so to speak. So rather than just doing a standardized kettlebell swing bilaterally, if you feel confident, I want you to go 6 on your right arm and 6 on the left. We've covered how to do the swing many times before, but just for a quick example, start the kettlebell in front of you, put it on a 45-degree bend, so you're in the hip hinge position, you're not squatting, and you're going to pull through your back, okay? You're not just yanking it with your arm, you're locking in through your back, you're squaring up your shoulders, you may have your hand out to help counterbalance the weight. You're going to bring it in and out. Hip extension, Okay, obviously gravity wants to pull me forward and pull me across, but you got to fight that through those anti-rotational muscles. Lock it in, 6 on your right, 6 on your left. Get back on the bike, or see how much time you have left within the 2-minute bracket. So that may have taken me to say 25 seconds for 20 calories, say 20 seconds for 12 lunges, probably 12 seconds, 12 13 seconds for the kettlebell swings. Gives me a minute rest. But if I'm working with heavier weights, challenging myself further, I need that minute rest, and then I'll be doing it 10 times. So with big volume, you're gonna be burning a lot of calories, you're gonna be building strength, building some mental resilience. As long as form is correct, I'm happy to go as hard as you want and enjoy.